The sound of a cruel laugh echoed through the college courtyard that afternoon. A group of students had gathered, their phones already raised, hungry to capture drama. In the middle of the circle stood a young woman, her books scattered across the pavement, her trembling hands clutching at her bag as a towering bully sneered down at her. "Pathetic," he spat, his voice dripping with arrogance. "You think you're better than us, don't you?" But before the bully could shove her again, a strong hand caught his wrist. The crowd gasped, phones lowering. Standing between the trembling girl and the aggressor was a man with weathered eyes and calloused hands, eyes that had seen wars, and hands that had held his child through sleepless nights. He was no ordinary passerby. He was a single dad. He was a soldier. And in that moment, he was her shield. What neither of them knew was that the girl he had just saved was no ordinary student. She was the daughter of one of the most powerful CEOs in the country. And this single act of courage was about to change both of their lives forever. The beginning. Daniel Hayes had been a soldier for 15 years. He had fought battles in places most people couldn't even find on a map. But now, his battlefield was different. It was raising his 10-year-old daughter, Emily, alone. His wife had passed away during childbirth, leaving him with both the gift and the burden of fatherhood. Daniel was no stranger to sacrifice. He worked long shifts as a security officer at night, studied during the day to complete a degree he had never finished, and still managed to pack his daughter's lunch, braid her hair, and attend every parent-teacher meeting. For Emily, her father was her hero. But Daniel rarely thought of himself that way. To him, he was just doing what needed to be done. That's why, when he spotted a girl being cornered in the college courtyard during one of his daytime classes, he didn't think twice. The rescue. The bully towered over the girl, his voice venomous. "Drop the attitude, princess. Nobody here cares about you." Daniel's instincts flared. He pushed through the crowd and grabbed the bully's wrist mid-swing. "That's enough," Daniel said firmly, his voice low and commanding. Years in the military had given him a presence that silenced rooms. The bully scoffed, trying to shake him off. "Who are you, old man? Stay out of it." But Daniel didn't move. "Pick on someone your own size. Or better yet, don't pick on anyone at all." The girl looked up, her wide eyes shimmering with tears. She had never seen anyone stand up to this bully before. The crowd started murmuring. Phones recorded. Whispers spread. Daniel's grip tightened. "Walk away. Now." Something in his eyes, calm, unyielding, dangerous, made the bully falter. He yanked his wrist free and spat on the ground. "This isn't over." Then he stormed off, his entourage following. The crowd slowly dispersed, disappointed that the show was over. But the girl remained frozen, clutching her bag. Daniel turned to her. His voice softened. "Are you okay?" She nodded shakily. I think so. Thank you." Her secret. Her name was Isabella Carter. To the world, she was just another college student. But in truth, she was the daughter of Richard Carter, a billionaire CEO whose empire stretched across industries. But Isabella had chosen to keep her identity hidden. She wanted to experience college as herself, not as the daughter of wealth and power. She wore simple clothes, carried second-hand books, and lived in a modest dorm. She wanted to prove to herself, more than anyone, that she could stand on her own. Yet, moments like today reminded her how vulnerable she truly was. "Don't let them see your fear," her father had always told her. But she wasn't her father. She wasn't a fighter. Not like Daniel. A new connection. After that day, Isabella kept noticing Daniel around campus. He was older than the average student, but he carried himself with quiet strength. Students whispered about him, the single dad who worked nights and studied days, the soldier who had returned to earn his degree. One afternoon, Isabella approached him in the library. "You didn't have to help me that day," she said softly. Daniel looked up from his notes. "Of course I did. Nobody deserves to be treated like that." She studied him for a moment. Most people would have walked away. I'm not most people, he replied simply. From then on, a friendship blossomed. Isabella admired Daniel's resilience. Daniel admired her determination to carve her own path, even without revealing who she really was. Emily, Daniel's daughter, quickly grew fond of Isabella too. Whenever Isabella visited, Emily's laughter filled the apartment. For the first time in years, their little home felt complete. The challenges. But not everyone was happy. The bully, Jason Miller, came from a wealthy family with influence of their own. Humiliated in front of the whole college, he swore revenge. He began spreading rumors about Isabella, whispering lies about her background, twisting stories until students began to distance themselves from her. He mocked Daniel too, calling him a washed-up soldier, a charity case trying to play hero. The pressure grew. Isabella began skipping classes. Daniel noticed her fading smile. One evening, Isabella broke down in front of him. Maybe they're right. Maybe I don't belong here. Daniel knelt beside her. Don't you dare believe that. You belong wherever you choose to stand. Don't let cowards decide your worth. His words struck her. For the first time, she realized Daniel wasn't just a soldier. He was a survivor. The reveal. The bullying escalated until one day, Jason cornered Isabella again. This time, he had more than words. He shoved her against the wall, sneering, "You think you're untouchable? Wait till everyone knows who you really are." Daniel arrived just in time, his protective instincts flaring once more. He shoved Jason back, standing firm. "I warned you once. You don't get a second chance." Jason laughed bitterly. "Do you even know who she is? She's not some nobody. She's a Carter. A billionaire's daughter. You think she cares about you? About your kid? She's out of your league." The words stunned the crowd. Whispers erupted. Isabella's secret was out. Daniel looked at her, shocked. Isabella's eyes filled with tears. "I wanted to tell you. I just didn't want to be seen for my last name." Daniel said nothing. He simply placed himself between her and Jason again. "Her name doesn't change one thing. She's still the girl you're not going to hurt." Jason, humiliated once more, stormed away, but this time, his family's influence would strike harder. The storm. News spread like wildfire. Isabella Carter, the billionaire's daughter, was studying among them. Students treated her differently. Some fawned. Others sneered. The normal life she had tried to build was gone. Her father, Richard Carter, soon arrived at the campus, furious. "Isabella, I warned you this would happen. You should never have hidden your name. And who is this man?" His eyes narrowed on Daniel. Daniel straightened, unflinching. "Just someone who didn't stand by while your daughter was being hurt." Richard didn't trust easily, especially not men around his daughter. But over time, as he saw the way Daniel protected her, not because of her wealth, but because of her worth, his heart softened. The turning point. When Jason's father tried to use his influence to expel Daniel from the college, Isabella finally found her strength. She stood in front of the dean, her voice unwavering. "If anyone leaves this college, it won't be him. It will be the bully who has harassed students for years. Daniel Hayes is the kind of man this world needs more of." Her words sparked something in others. Students began speaking out, sharing their own stories of being bullied. Jason could no longer hide. The administration had no choice but to expel him. The resolution. With the storm finally settling, Daniel and Isabella found themselves closer than ever. Their bond had been tested by lies, secrets, and battles, but it endured. One evening, Isabella sat with Emily, teaching her to paint. Daniel watched from the doorway, a rare smile on his lips. For the first time in a long time, he felt hope. Not just for himself, but for the little girl who deserved the world, and maybe, just maybe, for the woman who had walked into their lives by chance, and stayed by choice. Inspiring ending. Daniel once believed that life after war was only about survival. Isabella once believed her last name defined her. But together, they discovered something far greater, that courage isn't about fighting battles overseas, or carrying a famous name. It's about standing up for what's right, no matter the cost. And in a world filled with cruelty and bullies, sometimes all it takes is one act of kindness to change everything. Call to action for your channel. Speech balloon: what would you have done if you were in Daniel's place? Have you ever stood up against a bully or wished someone had stood up for you? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. Thumbs up, and if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel Be Kind Always, where we spread powerful, emotional, and inspiring stories that remind us of the good in humanity. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a story that could change the way you see the world.